1921, that as to morals and disposition and color, the people are white. There is not a Negro resident in Newport Richey. So he thought that was a selling point to encourage people to come to the Newport Richey area. Then, in October of 1923, the Newport Richey Press wrote that there's a little Negro colony now north of Port Richey. So blacks had started to move into the area. In 1924, African American students in Newport Richey originally attended school in a small building in the Pine Hill section that was used both as a church and a school. In 1927, the Pine Hill area became known as the Booker T. Washington City, a colored suburb of Port Richey. And then by 1938, that school term, Ruby Lee Mack Copeland, who was a Jacksonville native and a resident of Tarpon Springs, she was appointed as the teacher at the Newport Richey Colored School. Then in April 1945, the second location for the colored children of Booker T. Washington section of town was built right there at US 19 and Ridge Road in Port Richey. The school became known as the Booker T. Washington School, and it referred to the name of the colored suburb in which it was located. Miss Ruby Lee Copeland taught in this new one-room school from the late 40s through the early 60s. She taught the first graders for a few minutes, then got them busy, and then taught the second graders for a few minutes and got them busy all the way through 8th grade. And guess what? Everyone learned. How awesome must that be? We have difficulties now with 20 first graders and getting them all to learn. But she taught all ages, all stages in that one room, and everyone learned. She was a talented woman. She was a teacher, a musician, a poet, and she did her best. She often talked of the lack of supplies and materials for the children, and sometimes she had to take the students outside in the sunshine to play because there was a lack of fuel for the stove to keep them warm on the inside. Then, in 1960, the Booker T. Washington School had 38 students. It was too many for that one-room building. So the third site was built in 1962 on Pine Hill Road, and that's the room in which you sit right now. This was considered a step up because now it had 2 classrooms and 2 teachers. Mrs. Maddie Lewis taught grades 1 through 4, and Miss Copeland taught grades 5 through 8, and she served as the principal. So I believe there was a divider. You can kind of see right up there where they divided the rooms. One side was for the younger kids. The other side was for the older kids. I'm told that room over there was the principal's office, and this very little small room was the library. And I think they cooked the lunch in there and they ate it here. My husband, Eugene, actually attended elementary school in this building. And so this was the color school back in the 60s. So the high school level students were transported to Tarpon Springs by a resident, Miss Ella Mae Winthrop, and then they had to take a bus to Clearwater. They were not allowed to attend the local high schools here in Newport Richey. And then in 1964, what happened? Civil Rights Act. Yes, I hear it up here. And the schools were ordered to desegregate. So beginning in 1966, the African American students were allowed to attend the formerly all-white schools here in Newport Richey, although many chose not to. Initially, only 2 black children went to the previously all-white schools. So in 1967, the Booker T. Washington School was closed by the school board in order to force the West Pasco black students to move over to the previously all-white schools. That way the schools would be integrated and the Justice Department would be happy. So for about 25 years, and that's Miss Copeland standing to your right, the far right, virtually every black child who grew up in the West Pasco area went through Miss Ruby Copeland's classroom. Now, the Pine Hill community was the Negro section of town, and it was known and became known to be heavily infested with drugs and drug activity. And there was a group of men who used to get together and watch football and things like that. And they noticed this activity. The papers were reporting that this was a drug-infested area, and they didn't want people to feel like everybody who lived over here were drug dealers, as well as they wanted a safe place for the children to be able to go after school. And so The gentleman to the left, that's Hummins Morton. Then there's Gene Scott, and that's Jimmy Scott, and then that's Herschel. We've met Reverend Herschel Lane. They were some of the original founders that decided, hey, let's do something about this problem and for our kids. And so they said in 1991, not so. We're going to form the African American Club of West Pasco. Yeah, that's worth a hand. Where they would host after-school programs that provide role models for the children and opportunities for them to be nurtured, motivated, and obtain a strong foundation for successful lives. So they started initially meeting in the Ritchie Elementary cafeteria, then a portable classroom that was right here on the grounds of the Booker T. Washington School. Then the District of Pasco County Schools allowed the AAC of Pasco to utilize this building, the Booker T. Washington School building, as its headquarters. And over the years, the AAC has had a strong partnership with the District of Pasco County Schools. So through various superintendents, we are still here, and we're grateful for that. Now, the youth continues to be the hub, the spoke of the wheel around which the AAC operates. We offer youth programs that focus on academics, life skills, the performing arts. All youth are welcome, regardless of any challenges, race, creed, or color. All programs are provided absolutely free of charge for the students and for their parents. So that's just over the years, some of the programs and some of the students that have been involved in our programs. So, to become a cultural hub of the community, embracing all cultures without regard to race, creed, color, sex, religion, or national origin. We host annual community celebrations for Dr. MLK, as you're here today, Juneteenth, Black History Month. We host a fundraiser to award over $10,000 in scholarships each year for deserving students. We've had Christmas and Thanksgiving giveaways and worked with honors programs in the community. And so we have become a cultural hub for the community here in Pasco County. So that's who we are. We're the African American Club of Pasco. We are now, I think this is going into the 35th year. We meet the first Saturday of each month, September through June. We take the summer off, July and August off. And at 11 o'clock, we'd love to have you come and lock arms with us and join in with us as we continue to help keep the dream